Hey, Kyle. Hey, buddy. Good. Hey, Judge. Good to see you, sir.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Eddie, would you like me to sit?
Well, I'm going to, if you've got room, you want to be right here? Okay. Good afternoon. Welcome. As Stokes County makes history today with our Charters of Freedom dedication ceremony, celebrating the dedication of these representations of the Declaration of Independence, the United States Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. All of you are our honored guests today as we all enjoy the freedoms that have been afforded us through these documents. Agreed?
Yeah. Are those balloons going to give me a way to get the flags going out?
I would like to offer a special welcome
The balloons are not in the way.
to our military veterans. Yes. Our Stokes County Board of Commissioners,
Do I need to move those balloons?
our county manager,
Okay.
and Stokes County employees, our guests from the town of Danbury, the town of Walnut Cove, and the city of
When we're in
King,
a weak position, things go back on our... When we're in a weak position, things go back on our...
Sheriff Mike Marshall, and the Stokes County Sheriff's Department and other law enforcement officials, our Stokes County court officials and their representatives that are here today,
I could probably do it without...
our state and federal officials and their representatives, and I want to also acknowledge the commissioners that initiated this dedication and this project. And those were Commissioner Booth, Commissioner Jones, Commissioner Langford, Commissioner Mendenhall, and Commissioner Walker. Thank you. And last, but certainly not least, I'd like to welcome our very special guests, Vance and Mary Jo Patterson, and representatives from Foundation Forward and the Charters of Freedom organization. At this time, I would like to invite Pastor Chuck Estes from Ronaldo Presbyterian in King with our invocation.
I invite you to join me as we pray. Father, we thank you for this good day and for the freedom to worship you without fear and without shame. The freedoms that we enjoy were dearly purchased by the blood of our fathers, but most of all by the blood of the Lord Jesus Christ. The Bible says that it is for freedom that Christ has set us free. And so we are thankful for the freedom that we have in Jesus. Father, our liberty is rooted in faith in you and you alone. Our great nation was founded on that faith, a faith that is reflected in these declarations that we hold so dear. And as we stay true to the ideals of life, liberty, and justice for all, we know and we celebrate that the foundation of these ideals is in Jesus Christ. He is the author and finisher of our faith, and it is to Christ that we turn to empower and sustain us in these extraordinary times. We thank you that you are rich in mercy, full of grace, and full of blessing. Bless those that are in authority, Lord. Bless them with wisdom and discernment as they lead. Bless our land with healing and with peace and with joy. And bless these United States of America to bring glory to your kingdom and honor to your name. The name above all names, Jesus Christ, in whose name we pray. Amen.
Amen. A little change in the program to make you aware of. The 208th Army Band was originally scheduled to perform the national anthem and provide our pre-programmed music today. And because of the COVID-19 situation, they were not permitted to attend, but they did send their congratulations on this dedication. And they would like to take a rain check and actually perform here on this site at some point in the near future. So we will make you aware of that. At this time, we would like you to stand for our national anthem, uncover. Please face the flag as our colors are presented by King American Legion Post 290 and Commander Cliff Kilby. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Oh, I forgot the Thank you. You may be seated. Excuse me. So before I recognize our dignitaries today who will be speaking, today, right at this moment, your life's journey has been appointed this time in this place for all of us to be here because of one word: freedom. We have guest speakers today who will tell their own journey and the significance of these documents in their lives. But I wanted to quickly mention just a little bit about my own journey. I was blessed to be born into a career United States Air Force family. My father served more than 20 years. I was born at Lackland Air Force Base, Wilford Medical Center Hospital in San Antonio during the Vietnam War. My parents made it a priority to my brothers, my sister, and I to understand the importance of freedom and those that had lived before us who guaranteed the right to freedom. My dad often told me that our country is always a work in progress and that freedom is not free, but involves great courage and sacrifice. I experienced that sacrifice firsthand when I married my wife, whose brother had been killed in the defense of our country's freedom while serving in the U.S. Army. I encourage you, take advantage of this monument and the Charters of Freedom to tell your own story to the next generation and leave a legacy of celebration and education to carry on long after we are gone. Forever, these charters will remain the foundation of our country and our freedom. Our speakers today, in this order, will include the following: Mayor Janet Witt from the town of Danbury, Mayor Nellie Brown of the town of Walnut Cove, representing We're glad to have Mayor Warren here. I do want to acknowledge Mayor Jack Warren, but speaking will be Wesley Carter, who is on the City Council of the City of King, and also a United States Marine veteran. From our Board of Commissioners, Chairman Andy Nicholson. From our Board of Education, Chairman Mike Rogers, who's also a veteran of the United States Air Force. From the Stokes County Sheriff's Department, Chief Deputy Joey Lemons. From the court system, Judge Tom Langen. Representative Kyle Hall from the North Carolina State House. Do we have a representative from Senator Berger's office that is here? A representative from Virginia, Congresswoman Virginia Fox's office. Okay. Or a representative from Congressman Patrick Henry's office. We do have Stephanie Blair, a representative from Senator Tom Tillis's office. Thank you all again. Guest speakers?
Welcome everyone to the town of Danbury, dignitaries and special guests. It is indeed an honor to be a part of today's dedication ceremony. When asked to say a few words about what the Charter of Freedom means to our community, I thought who better to convey this message than the brave men I have with me today. Captain Gary Lee, our Mayor Pro Tem, and Captain of the Sheriff's Office of Forsyth County, and Vietnam veteran, Commander David Taylor, Military Order of the Purple Heart, and we thank you all who worked so hard to make this event happen. It is truly an honor and a privilege to have these brave men speak for me today.
Thank you, Mayor. In the interest of trying to get to the other speakers before the weather moves in on us, I'll be very brief. I'd just like to take an opportunity to thank the Foundation Board for these charters and for this monument. Speaking for myself, I learned about these documents as a student in the schools of Stokes County, and learning about them, especially coming from a rural background such as I did. It was fascinating to me how the forethought of our forefathers that put into the documents, and how important it was to them that each individual's rights, that each individual, no one person is above or better than another, and that is woven into the fabric of those documents, and it's woven into the fabric of this nation. And so as far as my journey, I can tell you that without having assurances, the assurances that we have in life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, that everything that I have today, everything that all of us have are able to achieve today could not be possible were it not for the foundation that this country is built upon. And these documents are that foundation. I really want to just take a chance to say that this will be a valuable resource for this county and for Danbury, and I am sure that our school system will be able to take full advantage of this, so that our children and our children's children can learn these valuable lessons. And as we go forward, I've heard many people talk about how old the Constitution is, and how old all the ideals that this country was founded upon were. Well, I'm here to tell you that those old ideals, that they are still just as relevant today as they were the day that the pen was put to the paper, and that they're just as effective. And thank you.
I'm David Taylor, Military Purple Heart Commander. And I'd just like to say thank the city of Danbury, the mayor, and all you fine people for putting this on. Because this is my safe place. I've never felt safer than being surrounded. I'm not a hero, but I'm surrounded here by heroes. Thank you so much. Judy, my wife, says never let me fumble Mike. Janet, a verified. So I'm going to make it short. Please, and thank Larry Hansel for the Stokes County Veteran Service Office. But try to be a rainbow in somebody's cloud. Thank you.
I'd like to say good afternoon. It's an honor to be here today. It's a blessing to me to be on this special occasion. My name is Nellie Brown, Mayor of Walnut Cove. It's my first term in office as a politician, but it's really good having Kim Greenwood right beside me as city manager. And it's this day is special because my father was a World War II veteran, and my brother is also a veteran. And to all the military, I pray for them, and also to all the veterans who have served our country. This is history in the making for all the young people that's going to come up after us. So at this time, I'm going to ask Mr. Greenwood, and thank everyone for the board, for the people that's here today, all the dignitaries, all the people that's here. I just ask the Lord, please don't let it rain.
Thank you, Mayor. For giving me the opportunity just to speak for the town of Walnut Cove. Thank you, Mayor. On behalf of the commissioners of Walnut Cove and the citizens of Walnut Cove,
May want to use the handheld.
the Charters of Freedom,
May want to use the wired
board
mic.
for putting up such a beautiful monument to our sacred document. No other time in history have we ever had an opportunity to where man could govern and regulate himself. Those documents ensure those, as Gary related to it just a moment ago, they never get old. And as we go forward, bring your grandchildren, your children, this is for the young, the old to come and see and to appreciate a part of history and to appreciate our freedom. So again, on behalf of the town of Walnut Cove, just thank you for inviting us and having us.
Good afternoon. I'm Wesley Carter. I'm on the City Council in King, and on behalf of the mayor and the council, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to speak. I thank you for the county commissioners that have put this on, had the foresight for this great monument. I create a kind of great opportunity and a great honor to speak here, and I'm going to talk as long as I can. So Kyle, you can get as wet as possible. But no, I want to read just a phrase because I can't do it justice. But in the Declaration of Independence, it says, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." And it's hard to believe that those words were written over 200 years ago. They're so relevant to what we're living through today, and terrible time. Economic troubles, this virus, and all the things that are going on, but yet they're just as relevant as they were the day they were written. And I'm thankful to grow up in a country that we can live and pursue our happiness, and we have freedom. I was told to tell a little bit about myself, but I grew up on Tom Gordon Road in Stokes County. Grew up poor, didn't have a whole lot, but in this country. If you work hard and you trust in God, you can accomplish things.
Evidently not. No.
9/11 changed my life. It impacted me, and it challenged me to want to serve my country, and I did that in the Marines in 2003, and served a brief time in Iraq in 2005. But this is the American dream, and we're all living that. We're all reaping the benefits that we see that these great men who signed the documents behind us, and I'm just so thankful. I wanted to point out one man, William Hooper. He was a delegate from North Carolina, one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence. One of those names that you glance over, but yet in the Revolutionary War, Cornwallis's army fled back to Wilmington, where William Hooper lived, and they hated him so much because he signed the document that they burned his home, burned his estate. He was pursued, and they wanted to kill him. And, you know, that's just one piece of what the men and women who served our country have gone through, not only for this document, but serving and preserving our freedom ever since. I'm thankful for the opportunity to speak, and I'm thankful for what these great documents represent. And my 3 daughters can come here and read them and look at them and realize that the great foundation we have as Americans. Thank you.
Well said.
On behalf of the Stokes County Board of Commissioners of Stokes County, I'd like to welcome everyone to the Charter of Freedom Dedication Ceremony. This is something for Stokes County to be proud of. The Charter of Freedom are our country's founding documents. The 3 original documents, the Declaration of Independence, United States Constitution, and the Bill of Rights, are on display in the rotunda of the Charter of Freedom in Washington, D.C.
It's, you know, maybe a mono.
Many may have had a chance to travel to Washington, D.C. to see them, but not many have not. And now everyone in our county will have the opportunity to see an important part of their history. It's important that we remember the principles outlined in the founding documents. Our founding fathers were challenged with fighting their war and established a government for the people.
And I'll take that one up with
We still believe in the government by the people and that everyone has the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. What a great week for this dedication or the leading up to the 4th of July holiday. We have so much to celebrate. We'll be able to remember our history and pass these ideas on to future generations. We invite our students to come for field trips to view these documents just as they would in the National Archives. Many in our county here today have taken an oath to uphold the Constitution. Thank you to all the men and women who have given all so that we may enjoy these freedoms. This is not taken lightly. I want to thank everyone who made this project happen. This was a collaborative effort between our county and Foundation Forward. Thanks to the businesses who donate materials and time to make this possible. Thanks to the Foundation Forward in providing this wonderful gift to Stokes County. And thanks to Stokes County Public Works employees and Director Mark Dellenhant for all their hard work on making this beautiful site for all to enjoy for many years to come. They have worked especially hard on this project. Thank you to our former Board of Commissioners, including Mr. James Booth, Rhonda Jones, Ernest Langford, Ronnie Mendenhall, and Jimmy Walker for getting this project started. I also want to thank Ms. Shannon Shaver and Mr. Jake Oakley. Also had a big hand in this. Thank you guys as well. I hope all the citizens of Stokes County will enjoy this beautiful moment for years to come. And as I told my board earlier in the meeting this week, or last week, 2087 to be open at the time council. Be sure to mark your calendars to be there. Thank you.
See if it works.
Board of Education. Whoa, here we go.
That didn't
All right,
work.
let's go live. I was asked to speak about what the Constitution. Okay, we're good. What the Constitution meant to us personally. For me, it's had multiple meanings. I grew up in the age where Schoolhouse Rock, it was a cartoon. Every kid loved cartoons, so that was my first exposure. Then you move on and you get to civics class in high school, and you learn it, but you don't appreciate it. Fast forward a little bit longer, I swore an oath to protect and defend the Constitution. It was U.S. Navy, nothing against the Air Force. But we worked for it. So with that, I was able to travel to a lot of different countries. I went all over, anywhere the Navy thought would be a really bad place to send a young single guy. I've been there. I've been to Greenland and saw what it's like to live on island. But I've also been to Peru to see where they didn't have the freedoms we did. Where you walk in fear every day. And then you begin to appreciate it. Fast forward a little bit longer, I come home to Stokes County. This is where I love. I was fortunate enough to have a son said, "Dad, Army-Navy game has always been on your bucket list." So 2 years ago, we went. And although we were arguing over who had the better paratroopers between the Army and the Navy SEALs, I think SEALs won. We spent a day seeing this document where it was created. You have no perspective reading from a textbook or looking at it on the internet by looking at it live. From the Board of Education, we now have an opportunity to make the next generation aware of what it looks like in person. We can charge them to go find out the stories behind. People burnt down houses because they did not like the signer. If there's one story, there's 1,000 of people who have gone above and beyond what is reasonably asked to ensure that that Constitution stays. It's been amended, it's been changed. It was a roadmap to freedom for all of us 200 plus years ago. It will continue to be a roadmap for the next 2,000 years. We may have to massage it a little bit, but let's face it, guys, in 1776, they decided what everything should look like, and we're still holding that true. And that to me means more than anything, because they had the forethought to present to us a document that we could run with and protect our freedom. Thank you.
Thank you. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. It's the words of Matthew 5:14. President Ronald Reagan, who this building right here was named after, he referred to this nation as a city on a hill, notably on the eve of his election and in his farewell speech to the nation. And I think it's worth noting that President Reagan had the same admiration and the same hope for America, both at the beginning and at the end of his presidency. There's not a lot more I can say about what's already been said about the documents that have been represented here. Their enduring status reminds us that though they were written so long ago, every word is just as resonant as it was the day it was penned. These documents, they're the foundation on which our nation was built, has lasted, and will continue to be a beacon of freedom for centuries to come. Freedom in this country is not something to be taken for granted. It was paid for through the commitment and the sacrifice of patriots, as well as the greatest military this world has ever known. Some might say that public confidence in our founding principles is fading, that the words written on these documents aren't applicable in today's climate, and I have to disagree. We have to endeavor to resist any notion of a sword. In order to continue onward, we have to remember our values and the foundation that our country was built on. As a law enforcement officer, I raised my hand to God. I took an oath to support and maintain the Constitution of the United States. The laws that the legislature passes and that we enforce are not to be inconsistent with the Constitution. The laws that keep our society just and peaceful ultimately derived from the Constitution. And with it, along with the Bill of Rights, we're able to live in a country that's governed by the rule of law and ordained by God. And as citizens, we have a responsibility to live up to the ideals written on these pages. We have an obligation to pass it on to the next generation. And I hope this space, as others have mentioned, will be a field trip destination for our students, especially those studying civics and government, that by reading these words, they can gain a greater appreciation of what makes our country unique. I thank you for allowing me to be a part of this special occasion, this momentous occasion for our county. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
Good afternoon and happy early 4th of July. Every day in that very building behind you, lawyers, law enforcement officers, prosecutors, and ordinary citizens bring their cases. Some are individuals charged with crimes, others are seeking redress various grievances. And every day we talk about our Bill of Rights, our Fourth Amendment requirement for probable cause, Fifth Amendment protections from double jeopardy, due process of law, the guarantee of a speedy trial, and most importantly, our Second Amendment rights, which secure all the others. Those rights and others are neither cliches nor are they quaint notions when asserted in our courtrooms in Danbury, North Carolina, Danbury, Connecticut, Los Angeles, California. They're as precious today as they were in 1789. And for those of us who are blessed to do this work, lawyers, law enforcement officers, and judges, the Constitution, as George Washington said, is the guide that we will never abandon. And it's by steadfastly adhering to those words and principles, charters of freedom, that our republic will endure, and its system of justice shall remain the envy of the world. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Let me first thank the Foundation Board and the Stokes County Board of Commissioners for making this project happen. How fitting it is that this monument be dedicated in the same week that in 1776, 56 men met in Philadelphia, risking their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor to vote to separate our ties with Britain. And the Declaration of Independence, our founding fathers laid out the novel idea that all men were created equal, endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, among these being life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This monument behind me serves as a testament to how truly exceptional America and our people are. We the people, are governed by our United States Constitution, the world's oldest constitution still in use. Because of the determination of early North Carolina state leaders who stood their ground and refused to ratify this Constitution until our rights and liberties were expressly guaranteed, we have a Bill of Rights to create specific prohibitions on governmental power. While this monument serves as that testament to American exceptionalism, it also serves as a reminder of our nation's founding and history, both the good and the bad. While the Constitution established our government of the people, by the people, and for the people, it failed to guarantee women's suffrage until the 19th Amendment of 1920. This document also expressly stated that some American citizens were only three-fifths persons, and that people could own other people until those cruel and unjust errors were amended by the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments in 1865, 68, and 70. We learn from these documents through this monument of where we've been, where we're going, and we continue to build that more perfect union our founders envisioned. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Brett Keeter. I'm Congressman Patrick McHenry's District Director, and it is a pleasure to be here with you today. I bring greetings on behalf of he and Congresswoman Virginia Fox, who currently represents you till the end of the year. Then he will take over when you go into the 10th District. They work very well together, and I can tell you the reason that he has been so excited about taking on Stokes County is because of this. You're sitting here today in what looks to be an oncoming rainstorm to celebrate these documents. And that is a great thing today because, let me tell you, after what we've seen the last month, it is exciting to see patriotic, God-fearing people here in Stokes County who are excited about building a monument instead of tearing down one. So I'm not going to take up a lot of time except to say that please contact our office if you want to come see the real documents in Washington, or if you want a tour, because we would love to do it because this is a wonderful place. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I bring remarks from Senator Tom Tillis. Unfortunately, his schedule does not permit him to be here today as he is up in Washington, D.C. But I do bring some remarks from him, so I will share those with you. So he is pleased to welcome everyone gathered here today. North Carolina is truly fortunate, as well as our country, to have these wonderful documents that have provided so much guidance to our nation. It is going to be a privilege for the students in this county, as well as others, to come and see these documents firsthand. I wish you all the best for a wonderful event. Sincerely, Senator Tom Tillis. Similarly, please do not hesitate to reach out to our offices if we can be of any assistance. If you wish to come up to visit Washington, D.C., if you have any issues with any federal agency. I've had the wonderful privilege in my role to get to know some wonderful residents throughout the state, such as Mr. Taylor, who spoke earlier. I've had the wonderful privilege to work with him, to assist him through our office with getting his military record. That is something that is important. That is part of your history. Your father, brother, mother, sister, whoever may have served in our military. These are items that are part of our history, and it's wonderful to be here today to see this history honored. Thank you.
As I mentioned earlier, freedom is not free, but requires great sacrifice, and no one represents great sacrifice more than Vance and Mary Jo Patterson. Since 2013, through Foundation Forward, they have made it their life's mission to celebrate and educate communities to the Charters of Freedom, and have been the primary funding source for 28 Charters of Freedom sites across the country. Please welcome to Stokes County our special guests, Vance and Mary Jo Patterson.
Well, see if this does any better. Is there anything coming out of the speaker over here? Evidently no. All right. How about this speaker? Can y'all hear this one better? All right, good. We did a little work on the weather to get rid of the heat, and we kind of overcorrected. Believe it or not, there's some nice blue sky over here, so if everybody can lean your thoughts to the left a little bit, maybe we can bring that in. I am so proud of you all for being here today, for making the effort. My question is, are you ready to be part of history? Because we're going to dedicate your Charters of Freedom setting here. It's going to be here for the next 300 to 500 years, and your future generations are going to know you were here. My name is Vance Patterson. I'm from Burke County. That's in the western part between Hickory and Asheville. I'm a father of 4, married 45 years to my wife, Mary Jo. I'm a businessman. I've got a company, started a company that makes industrial fans. We actually make things out of metal, ship them across the country and around the world. I am a proud American manufacturer. I'm going to tell you a little about the inspiration behind Foundation Forward, what brought your Charters of Freedom here to Stokes County. I'm going to tell you a little about the setting itself, and then I'm going to make you a challenge, which I hope you will take with you. About 8 years ago, Mary Jo and I were up in Washington, D.C. We had some free time, so we decided to go to the National Archives, because we'd never seen the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution before. Well, if you've been there, you find that flash is not lightning. That's somebody taking a picture over here. If you've been there, you find yourself wandering down these hallways looking at different displays, and then you go into this large room. You walk through these big bronze gates into a rotunda, and there are the founding documents on the other side. Declaration of Independence on the left, 4 pages of the Constitution in the middle, and the Bill of Rights on the right. This is when we learned that these are known as the Charters of Freedom. Now, one of the things I liked was that once you got into the rotunda, there were no lines. You just wander around looking at different exhibits, and when you get a chance, you step up and look at the founding documents. And I'll never forget the first time I saw the Declaration of Independence, something our founding fathers had actually penned. And then saw their signatures, their real handwritten signatures. Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, Rutledge, Wilson, and the others. I just got goosebumps. And then when we got a chance, we moved over and saw the first page of the U.S. Constitution. And those 3 words, "We the people." I got a lump in my throat. I looked over and Mary Jo was wiping tears out of her eyes. It was really an emotional experience for us. Well, the following year, back in Burke County, I got to thinking about that experience. And a thought came to me, what if we could duplicate that experience and bring it back to the citizens of Burke County? So I told Mary Jo about it, and she got excited. And we started working on a project, and it turned out to be an education project. And the scope was to design and build a replica of the displays in the National Archives, put it in a central location in Burke County. It had to have high visibility, high foot traffic, and easy access for school children and veterans. Well, it took 2 years to get this done, even though it was a gift from Mary Jo and I to the county. See, there were a number of problems. One being, and this was kind of major, there are no drawings available of what's up in Washington in the National Archives. No dimensions, no measurements, nothing. So we had, after we got approval from a late night joint meeting between the Burke County Commissioners and Morganton City Council, Mary Jo and I got back in the car the next morning, drove back up to Washington. You see, we'd only seen these documents once. But we walked into the rotunda, and now they won't let you take out a tape measure and start measuring a national treasure. But we had a plan. We walked in, and Mary Jo went one way, and I went another. And if this is still on, good. I walked up to the U.S. Constitution at the end, and I did this. And I was right in the middle. Meanwhile, Mary Jo is walking all the way up to the settings, turning around and facing the crowd. And she is marking on her body the different elevations. And then we left before anybody started asking questions. So I tell people, well, your setting here may not be exactly what's up in Washington. Keep in mind, it's based on 2 paces of a short guy and 3 marks on my wife's body. We do have our ways. Well, it was such a great experience doing that first setting that we decided to do another one. And the second one went in Cherokee County, downtown Murphy. It was dedicated on September 17th, 2014, on Constitution Day. Let me back up a little bit because I didn't tell you about our dedication. We dedicated ours on July 2nd, 2014. It was the first Charters of Freedom setting outside of Washington, D.C. The second one went downtown Murphy. The third one was a gift to Buncombe County, downtown Asheville. Now during this time, we decided to set up a foundation, a 501c3, because we knew we were going to be doing more. The principles of this foundation are, number one, education. Education in American history and civics, so people know how government is meant to serve we the people. Number two is access. Not everybody can get to Washington to go to the National Archives. It took Mary Jo and I over 60 years to get there the first time. So we want to provide access in each community, see these documents in a proper setting. And number three is community. Stokes County and Danbury now have a place to gather to celebrate, to honor, and to reflect. To date, as stated earlier, we have placed and dedicated now 29 Charters of Freedom settings across the country. In North Carolina, South Carolina, Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, Nebraska, South Dakota, and as far west as Carson City, Nevada. We've got 5 more to dedicate now. We start next month on one up in Wasilla, Alaska. Let me tell you a little about your setting here. One of the things I learned in life is that if you want a setting or a monument to last, you put more underground than above ground. This is not a tip-over monument. Your foundation goes down 3.5 feet. It is solid, reinforced poured concrete. It then comes up into a solid core. Just the foundation and the core of that centerpiece weighs over 38,000 pounds, over 19 tons. It's then surrounded by 4 inches of brick and mortar. There are 6 documents displayed. All are life-size, and each is on 1/4 inch etched bronze and weighs over 60 pounds. The documents are in chambers covered by 1/2 inch of treated polycarbonate, unbreakable. Please don't try it. There's an emblem on the front, or a medallion, as you can see on the front of this stand, which is very special. We commissioned some artists across the country to come up with this design. The eagle represents the Declaration of Independence, proud, bold, defiant. There are 7 stars above the eagle, which represent the 7 articles of the U.S. Constitution. And there are 10 stars under the eagle, which represent the 10 first approved amendments, your Bill of Rights. As I said earlier, this setting is built to last 300 to 500 years. Now people ask us, why are we doing this? And we tell them, yes, it's very expensive, but we believe it's more important than money. We believe this gives us a direct link to our founding fathers by helping to preserve what it is they gave this country, a government to serve and protect we the people. We learned that we had two founding fathers who were very big on education. Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, actually penned most of the Declaration of Independence, and Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin, with us today in the crowd, thank you, was an inventor, he was a scientist, he was an author, a publisher, and he was truly a sage. He is the one they would go to if they really got stuck on a problem for his wisdom. These two believed that in order to have a free and independent country, you must understand how government works, that you cannot control what you do not understand. Thomas Jefferson, in 1787 said, "Educate and inform the whole mass of the people. They are the only sure reliance for the preservation of our liberty." And James Madison, a 5-foot 4-inch virtual rock star of his era, wrote in 1822, "A people who mean to be their own governors must arm themselves with the power knowledge gives." You wouldn't believe how many people come up to us when we're building these settings and say, "That's it? Just 4 pages to the Constitution?" And we say, "That's it." All of our government and laws are based on those 4 pages. You wouldn't believe how many people don't know that the first 10 amendments are our Bill of Rights. I imagine there are people in the crowd today that are hearing that for the first time. You see, education. Now, you probably noticed that I haven't been calling this a monument. The definition of a monument is a memorial to an individual or to honor an event. And this is not a memorial. This is an active, hands-on educational supplement for your school's curriculum. Imagine, if you will, teachers bringing their 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade classes down here to Danbury, to your Charters of Freedom setting, for annual field trips. And while they're here, they'll learn a little about the Founding Fathers, a little about the documents, and also about how government is meant to work. And while they're here, they can learn about state and local government and local heroes. This is happening all across the country now. In these communities, they have their own Charters of Freedom. And these children love these field trips. It's active, it's hands-on, and they are memorable life experiences for them. It's going to start happening here in Stokes County now. There are 3,142 counties, boroughs, parishes, independent cities, census zones, and the District of Columbia in the United States. Our long-term goal as a foundation is to place a Charters of Freedom setting in as many of those communities as possible over the next 10 years. Our short-term goal is to do all 100 counties of North Carolina and then do all 46 counties of South Carolina, so that people across the country are saying, "What is going on in the Carolinas?" Our hope is that our future generations will grow up in communities that have their own Charters of Freedom settings, that they'll no longer just be talking about the Constitution and Bill of Rights in Washington. They'll be talking about their Constitution and their Bill of Rights, the ones they grew up with right here in Stokes County. Now for the challenge. Our founding fathers were challenged by the greatest force on earth, the British Empire. They rebelled, they revolted, they protested, and then they fought a war. And all that while, they were setting up a government that is still in effect over 230 years later, and replicated by over 65% of the countries around the world. Mark Delahan and Andy Nicholson and the Board of Commissioners of Stokes County were challenged with bringing a Charters of Freedom setting here and getting it dedicated. And they have met their challenge. Your challenge actually started about 3 years ago. Mary Jo and I had just finished with a dedication at Hanover College in southern Indiana. And we were getting ready to leave the campus center, and I looked across, and I saw this guy. I said, I need to go thank this guy again. A guy named Ron Wells, African-American facilities engineer, who had helped me a lot during the setup and the dedication. So I walked across the campus center, and I walk up, and I'm shaking Ron's hand. I said, "Ron, thanks again for all you did to help me. And he said, thank you for making this donation, this contribution to our community. And I said what I usually say, well, you're welcome, and please make sure everybody uses it after we're gone. And he said, Mr. Patterson, I took my son over last night, and we had the talk. And I said, Ron, that means more to me than anything anybody's ever said. Thank you. So here's your challenge. You bring your child, your grandchild, your niece, your nephew, or other family member down here to your Charters of Freedom setting. And you tell them, like Ron Wells did, about their freedoms and their rights, and how those rights and freedoms give them an advantage over the rest of the world to pursue their passions, to chase their dreams, to accomplish their goals, and get out of life what it is they want to get out of life. You do that. And as far as Mary Jo and I are concerned, and the rest of Foundation Forward, we'll call it even. Thank you. Things are getting a little soggy up here. Oh. Will Mary Jo and Andy Nicholson please come up? Yeah, I'll hold this. The Charters of Freedom setting, located at your government center, Danbury, North Carolina, is hereby gifted from Vance and Mary Jo Patterson of Burke County, North Carolina, to the children, veterans, and citizens of Stokes County, North Carolina. All rights, responsibilities, and care for this setting, displaying the Declaration of Independence, the United States Constitution, and the Bill of Rights, are hereby transferred to Stokes County this day, July 1st, 2020.
Yeah, I really don't know what to say. This is overwhelming, and to hear it's going to be here for the next 300-500 years. I have 5 kids of my own, and especially our little 2.5-year-old who marks and stuff all the time. I make sure she'll bring a marker with her here, just to show her what everything right here means. And yeah, I just can't thank the Charters of Freedom enough. Thank you guys so much.
All right, we've got 2 more quick things to do, and that blue weather is getting even closer, so probably going to be really humid by the time this is over. If the cannoneers will please move over to where Barry is. In the back, I need to tell you about the time capsule. In the back of the center setting is a vault. In that vault is going to be a time capsule. And in the time capsule will be letters and memorabilia from this era. Going to be letters from, from the veterans groups, from law enforcement, from the education groups, from the county commissioners and different administrators of the county, and one from me. Along with other memorabilia, and that vault is going to be sealed up in about the next 4 or 5 months. It won't be opened until September 17th, 2087, the 300th anniversary of the U.S. Constitution. All vaults will be open the same day, so it should be very interesting as to what's in those vaults. Now, if you're here and there's any problem opening that vault, well, I gave the combination to the county commissioner or chairman, so you know who had it last. All right, last thing we're going to do a cannon salute. Back when we first did the first dedication back in 2014, I wanted to do a cannon salute, but I didn't know how many times to fire a cannon. I knew 21 times was too many. So being an education organization, I did some research and learned that the cannon salute began, or the cannon salutes began back in the 1600s. When a ship would be pulling into port, the port wouldn't know whether the ship was was hostile or not. So the ship would turn its guns to sea and fires 7 rounds. Well, the port, having more cannon and more powder, would respond 3 in kind. So that's where the 21-gun salute came from. Well, again, I knew that was too much. So then I remembered that we've done business over in Scotland. And if you've been to Edinburgh, the Scottish mark the time of day with their cannon. See, and this is a story told by the Scottish. They liked the way the British fired 12 rounds at noon, and so the ship's captains and clerks could set their clocks. Well, the Scottish, being Scottish, reasoned, why shoot 12 rounds at noon when we could wait till 1 o'clock and save 11 rounds? So every day at 1 o'clock, there's a howitzer up on the hill in the old fort at Edinburgh that goes off. So I knew my number was somewhere between 1 and 21. And I decided on 7, partly because of history, but also because there are 7 articles to the U.S. Constitution. We are going to fire 1 round for each article of the Constitution. Perry, are my cannoneers ready? Drum roll, please. Article 1 defines the legislative branch, composed of the House of Representatives and the Senate. It describes their powers and responsibilities. Article 2 defines the executive branch, the qualifications for President and Vice President, their powers, responsibilities, and means of removal from office. Article 3 sets up the judicial branch, the Supreme Court and the lower court system. It protects the right of trial by jury and defines treason. Article 4 gives the states the right to make and carry out their own laws related to the people and problems of their state, so long as those laws do not conflict with the U.S. Constitution. Article 5 outlines the process of amending the U.S. Constitution. Article 6 sets the status of the United States Constitution as the supreme law of the land, to which all leaders, including the legislative, executive, and judicial, must be loyal. Article 7 addresses a ratification, declares that the United States Constitution should take effect if 9 of 13 states ratify. Children, veterans, citizens of Stokes County, I give you your charters of freedom.
Yes, sir. This concludes our dedication ceremony. Please come up and meet Mr. and Mrs. Patterson and enjoy the Charters of Freedom. Thank you, Stokes County.
Well done. Yeah. Isn't that fun?
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah, nice talking to you. Yeah. This turned out really well.
Nice enough, at least. Everyone, if you would like to be part of our mission going forward, we have a policy that we call our Pay It Forward program. Any of the pavers that you see on the ground in our field of honor in front of the Constitution can be purchased for a $100 donation. You can commemorate your family, your business, a civic group, a loved one who served in the military or a first responder. They are 4x8 bricks for $100. We also have 8x8 brick or 8x8 granite.
It's very rewarding for us.
That can be purchased as well.
Yep.
So there are forms underneath the tent, as well as some of us up around the Constitution will have some forms as well. Thank you very much.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Yeah, that's nice. Good. I'm glad you got that.
These are good news cards. You hand them out to the kids.
Okay.
Now give me a
All right, good.
Get a lot of smiles.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Good. Just enjoying a little liquid sunshine. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Glad you're here.
I won't be here for the opening.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss that one too. I got a feeling.
Yeah. Thank you. Congratulations.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
North Carolina.
I forgot. got there, number 20.